The GoPro is an exceptional adventure camera. It's a great point of view camera to capture some really unique angles when you're shooting video. You can mount them on motorbikes, cars, planes, helicopters, parachuting, anything you want to, and you can get some really impressive footage. But most people don't even realise, if they do realise, they certainly hardly ever use it, is the GoPro photo mode. So how good is that GoPro as a photography type camera? Well, in this video we're going to compare it to the iPhone 11 Pro, and we'll see which one you want to take with you on your next little adventure. What I'm interested in is how these two cameras work against each other, because chances are if you're carrying around a GoPro, you've probably got a phone with you as well. So let's have a look at how they compare. So what we'll do, we'll go head to head with some of the interactive features on the two devices. We'll do a quick time lapse on both, and we'll set up to do a night photo with both. And stick around to the end and I'll show you something that's really cool that the GoPro can do that the iPhone just can't. Let's look at the user interface of these two things. Firstly, with the GoPro, it's a touchscreen on the back. So what we're using here is a GoPro Hero 8 Black. It's a touchscreen on the back. You get through the menu. It's reasonably intuitive, the menu that's on this. What I will say though is the touchscreen sometimes just doesn't work, and you've got to pull the battery out of that sucker to reset the camera. But the menu on the iPhone is, well, you go into the camera, you can swipe left or right, you can go to the different modes, it's right there straight away. It's about as intuitive as the GoPro. So I'm going to put them head to head there and say they're pretty well on equal footing there. I think the interface on both of those is pretty similar. When it comes to the iPhone, I've got to be honest, I take a lot of photos with my iPhone and I've never had it lock up. Ever. If we have a look now at actually how we use the cameras, firstly with the GoPro, the shutter button on the top here, as a photographer, what I would say is it's bloody horrible. This thing is designed to be an action camera, so the button on top there, it's got to be waterproof, I get that. For most of the time you're probably going to be hitting it with a pair of gloves if you're on a motorbike and so forth, so you need to have the button pretty durable. But for taking a photo, pushing on this thing, it's going to move the camera around and it will basically knock your photo out of the frame. So there is a way around that though. You can just set up in the menu a 3-second delay timer, push the button, hold the camera still, and you're sweet. With the iPhone, you can set the camera off 7 ways. 1, you can use the shutter button that's actually in the camera app. 2, you can use the volume button either side of the camera there, volume up, volume down, it'll also shoot the shutter. 3, you can use the timer within the camera app. You can go 3 seconds or 10 seconds. When you do that, it's going to give you a burst of photos of 10 photos, and you go through and select the ones that you want. 4, you can use the headphones that plug into the bottom of your phone and use the volume buttons on that. 5, you can use a Bluetooth remote just like this one here, and it will fire the photo as well. 6, you can use the Apple Watch to fire the shutter on the camera. And 7, you can use voice command to shoot the shutter on the camera. Yeah, you can. And to set up voice control, all you need to do is go into the settings icon, accessibility, voice control, and turn it on. And you're done. It's ready to go. I'll show you how to use it. Turn volume up. The two cameras are very similar in their capabilities of what they can do. Because they've both got small sensors, and what this channel is all about is taking photos in the dark with small sensors, let's have a look at how these things compare. Or do they compare? Let's have a look. First of all, we're going to do a time lapse with both of these things. We're going to set the GoPro up with the Joby tripod. On a fence post here, we'll set the phone up on a tripod, so they're both pointing directly into the sun, and we're going to capture the sunset on a time lapse over the course of a couple of hours. With the GoPro, we've got to set it up manually. With the iPhone, we just set it to time lapse, and hit the button, and we're good to go. So as far as the ease of use goes, when we're setting up these two things, the iPhone absolutely has it, hands down. We've got to set up the GoPro manually, and these are the settings that I used. We'll click on time lapse, and you can see the little pencil there. We're going to go into that pencil on time lapse, and we're going to change some of the settings if we want to change some of these settings. When I do a time lapse, I generally do it in 4K. That way in post-production later on, I can zoom in on different parts of it if I want to. With the lens here, we're going to use a wide or a linear lens. So what we're going to use for this one here is we'll leave it on wide. and we'll set the interval now. You can set this for down to half a second all the way up to 30 minutes. That's one photo every 30 seconds. Sorry, one photo every half second or one photo every 30 minutes. We're going to set this on to 10 seconds. You've got the option there to change the mode to give you photos, so you can stack them and edit each one individually, or as a video. I'm going the easy route here. We'll go with the video. We'll set the maximum ISO to 800. That way it's not too grainy when it starts getting dark. Leave the sharpness to medium. GoPros have a really bad habit of over sharpening images. And that's it. We are good to go. So here are the two time lapses. First of the GoPro, and second we've got the iPhone time lapse doing exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. What you'll see here is the GoPro doesn't seem to shoot for as long as the iPhone. That's because I've set it up manually to do it the way I've done it. But also the iPhone, when you do time lapses, and that one there went for about an hour and it only stuck down to 30 seconds. So the shorter the time lapse, the more frames the iPhone throws in. The longer the time lapse, it takes more out. Interesting, huh? All right, night mode, that's why we're all here. All right, let's have a look at the night mode photo. That is a 30-second long photo, 30-second long shutter on both the iPhone and the GoPro. With the GoPro, you've got to set up a little bit manually. I'll link up the top here to a video how you do it, but in a nutshell, these are the settings that I've used. On the iPhone, it's a similar sort of thing. I'll link up the top here how to do that, but it's pretty simple. You set it on a tripod, hit the yellow button there for night mode, touch the screen to focus on the star, set the exposure for 30 seconds down the wheel there, and you're good to go. Hit the shutter button and it'll take a photo. Firstly, with the GoPro, we tend to get a few hot pixels in this, and these are these little red and blue dots here. Can we do much about that? Not really. You can edit them out if you really wanted to, but we are talking about a photo that came off a sensor size that's about the same size as your thumbnail. So we've got to be realistic about these things. And the same goes for the iPhone. We don't get so much hot pixels, but we certainly get a lot of digital noise. So we'll run through a quick edit here. This is what the iPhone photo looks like after a edit in Adobe Lightroom on mobile phone. That's how it looks. And the GoPro, quick edit on the Adobe Lightroom on my desktop. That's how I did that there. And these are the two photos, head to head. And which one do you think is better? Let me know in the comments below. So when I took these two photos, the moon was out. Only a little sliver of a moon, it was just a new moon, and it gives a little bit of light. When you're shooting for long exposures at night with a little bit of light from the moon, you get some pretty cool light painting and the ground's all lit up. Here's a bonus thing for you. Did you know you can shoot night lapse with your GoPro? The setting up is the same as what it is for a combination of the time lapse and the night photo, and here is the video I took of the night lapse. Hopefully this video was helpful, guys. I'll see you next week.